That's exactly what happened in the 2026 NBA Finals. The San Antonio Spurs controlled the scoreboard for most of the series. They led by double digits in all 5 games. They were ahead for 72% of the total minutes played. At one point in Game 4, they held a massive 29-point lead. And yet, when the final buzzer sounded, the New York Knicks were the ones lifting the trophy. How did a team that almost nobody believed in pull off 4 different comebacks against a young, talented Spurs squad that had just taken down the defending champions?
I think San Antonio. I think Knicks gonna have some rust from not playing for so long. I think San Antonio gonna come out and punch them in the mouth like they did OKC.
So this rust versus rest, I think it's in the Spurs' favor.
You think it's in the San Antonio Spurs' favor?
Of course you're supposed to get out of the East. That don't just mean you win a championship because you get out of the East. It's the fucking East. Just like Becky Hammond said, prove me wrong.
This is the story of one of the most improbable championship runs in modern NBA history. On June 3, 2026, the New York Knicks walked into the NBA Finals for the first time in 27 years. They arrived with serious momentum, an 11-game winning streak that stretched back into April. It was the most dominant playoff run the franchise had ever put together. On the other side stood the San Antonio Spurs, a young and inexperienced group that had shocked the Western Conference by eliminating the defending champions in 7 hard-fought games. Despite their lack of finals experience, the Spurs entered the series as heavy favorites. Almost no one gave the Knicks a real chance. Game 1 set the tone for everything that followed. Both teams came out physical and aggressive. The Spurs found their rhythm early and built a double-digit lead. But the Knicks had a clear plan: attack Victor Wembanyama with constant physical pressure. Karl Anthony Towns made it his mission to stay in Wembanyama's space, forcing the 7'6" star into quick decisions and draining his energy. Wembanyama was used to opponents giving him room. The Knicks refused to do that. Even while wearing him down, New York still trailed at halftime. San Antonio came out of the break with more intensity and stretched the lead to 14. The Knicks stayed calm and stuck to the strategy. They kept attacking Wembanyama on every possession. Eventually, the constant pressure took its toll. With 7 minutes left in the third, Wembanyama checked out. The moment he left the floor, Towns took over. The Spurs' lead started melting away possession by possession. By the time Wembanyama returned, the game was tied, and he was clearly exhausted. In the fourth quarter, coach Mike Brown made a calculated decision to keep Jalen Brunson on the bench early, while the tired Wembanyama tried to protect the paint alone. The Knicks shooters stretched the floor beyond what one defender could cover. When Wembanyama finally sat, Brunson checked in and finished the job. The lead the Spurs had carefully built disappeared completely. New York closed the game with calm confidence. The Knicks had now won 12 straight playoff games. Game 2 followed a similar pattern. San Antonio started strong and built a 12-point lead. Then something changed. Wembanyama looked hesitant every time he matched up with Towns. The physical battle from Game 1 had clearly affected his confidence. Towns scored 12 points in the second quarter alone. Mikal Bridges caught fire and couldn't miss. Meanwhile, Wembanyama attempted just 1 shot and scored only 2 points in the entire quarter. By halftime, the Knicks were ahead, and the Spurs looked lost. San Antonio tried adjusting by doubling Brunson, but the Knicks were built for exactly that. Every player on the floor could shoot, and the doubles simply opened clean looks from the perimeter. Bridges continued his perfect shooting, and New York pushed the lead to 14 with 6 minutes left. Then, in a timeout, Wembanyama delivered an emotional message to his teammates. The Spurs responded with a furious 14-0 run that tied the game and brought the crowd back to life. With the game hanging in the balance, Brunson took over. He hit a tough falling-away jumper to knot the score again. On the next possession, Wembanyama settled for a mid-range jumper that missed. Brunson came back down and missed as well, but the Spurs couldn't convert. With 13 seconds left and all the momentum, a simple, uncoordinated pass was stolen by Brunson. He made his free throws. On the final possession, Wembanyama again settled for the same mid-range look. It missed. The Knicks survived. New York had now won 13 consecutive playoff games and stood just 2 wins from a championship. The Spurs' inexperience and a growing sense of overconfidence after beating the defending champions had been exposed. Game 3 moved to Madison Square Garden. Down 0-2 and facing the most hostile environment in basketball, the Spurs came out with a completely different approach. They ran pick and rolls for Wembanyama over and over. The results were immediate. Easy buckets in the paint returned, and the Knicks suddenly had no answer for the 7'6" presence at the rim. The Garden went quiet, yet New York refused to fold. Josh Hart and OG Anunoby kept them within striking distance.
The slam! A thunderous jam from OG Anunoby, and it's tied again.
At the end of the night, Stephon Castle stepped to the line in the closing seconds and knocked down both free throws. The Spurs escaped with a 115-111 win.
And the Garden has grown silent. What a clutch shot from De'Aaron Fox.
For the first time in the series, neither team had won a home game. Momentum had shifted, but nothing could prepare anyone for what happened next. Game 4 produced one of the most dramatic collapses in NBA Finals history. Karl Anthony Towns picked up 2 quick fouls in the opening minute and had to sit. Without his size and spacing, the Knicks' offense looked completely different. Mitchell Robinson entered, but the Spurs took full advantage. By halftime, San Antonio had made 14 three-pointers, a finals record.
And that sets a new finals record for most threes in a half. So for the second straight game, the Spurs have completely taken the life out of the fans here in the building.
And built a staggering 29-point lead. Madison Square Garden fell silent. In the second half, the Spurs continued launching threes, but their selectivity disappeared. The shots stopped falling at the same rate. New York began chipping away with better shot selection. Even so, they still trailed by 20 entering the fourth quarter. Then Mike Brown made an unorthodox move. He inserted Jose Alvarado. The undersized guard's job was simple: drag Wembanyama away from the paint. It worked. Clean looks opened up for cutters and shooters. With 4 minutes left, the 29-point lead had shrunk to 4. The Garden exploded back to life. Alvarado hit a massive three with Wembanyama closing out. The Spurs turned to De'Aaron Fox to close the game. Fox threw the ball away. Brunson answered with a floater that gave New York the lead with 1:22 remaining. Fox missed again. Castle hit 2 free throws to put San Antonio back up by 1. With 30 seconds left, Brunson's floater missed, but the rebound was tipped into the backcourt.
It's gone! It's gone! It's gone!
Fox grabbed it with 12 seconds left and a 1-point lead. The perfect chance to run out the clock or draw a foul. Instead, Fox attacked and was blocked by Anunoby. On the other end, Anunoby hit the go-ahead shot with 6 seconds left. Final score: Knicks 107, Spurs 106. The greatest comeback in NBA playoff history was complete. New York led the series 3-1 and stood 1 win from the title. A 29-point lead and the greatest offensive half in finals history had vanished. Down 3-1, the Spurs had to win Game 5 at home. They locked in defensively from the start, holding the Knicks to 13 points in the first quarter and building a 16-point lead. The crowd believed. But the mental scars from Game 4 remained. No lead felt safe. Jalen Brunson sensed the restlessness. He drew fouls, hit timely shots, and kept New York within reach.
Knicks have had some miraculous comebacks throughout these playoffs. Can they do it again?
In the fourth quarter, the familiar pattern returned. The Knicks chipped away while San Antonio looked helpless to stop it. Fox once again failed to deliver in the biggest moments. With 26 seconds left and the Knicks up by 2, Josh Hart missed a free throw, but Mitchell Robinson, the longest-tenured Knick on the roster, secured the rebound and got the ball out safely. On the final possession, Fox found Wembanyama for a 3. It missed. The New York Knicks were NBA champions. What made this series unforgettable wasn't just the scoreboard. It was the contrast in mentality. The Spurs had the talent, the size, and early leads in every game. The Knicks had the closer in Jalen Brunson, the physicality of Karl Anthony Towns, and a collective belief that no deficit was too large. San Antonio's youth and moments of overconfidence after their Western Conference run proved costly. New York's experience in grinding out playoff wins, combined with relentless pressure on Wembanyama and perfect execution in the final minutes, proved decisive. The 2026 NBA Finals will be remembered as the series where one team controlled the majority of the minutes and still lost, and where 4 different comebacks turned an underdog into a champion. The Knicks didn't just win a title. They completed one of the most remarkable postseason runs the league has ever seen.